What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some insane wins in the Fantasy Cup running a triple Dragon and Flying Glass Cannon team with Shadow Salamence, Shadow Dragonite and Rayquaza. And on the face of it, you look at this team and think, surely you just get absolutely slaughtered by Azumarill in every game, but that's actually not the case, and I think 75% of my wins came against teams running Azumarill on them, so this team actually is a lot more flexible than you might think. Now, one thing I want to mention is that before the leagues rotated, I made a poll asking which league you prefer to watch during this rotation, and the results are on the screen right now. So as you can see, a lot of people specifically wanted to see Ultra League gameplay. However, I stated that I personally haven't been having much fun in the Ultra League, so if you guys do want to see Ultra League content, you'd have to submit your own gameplay, and so far, not a single person has submitted any battles from this season in the Ultra League, so I'm probably not going to end up showcasing any Ultra League battles this week. However, next week, I'm definitely going to need your help, as we've only got the Little Holiday Cup, which doesn't look very fun at all, and we've got the Open Master League, which I can probably make one video on using my own battles. I've got just about enough Pokemon to make one team out of, but yeah, it's going to be a struggle for me, so please, if you have any spicy Pokemon for the Open Master League, especially if they got buffed this season, please submit some battles, because I could really use the help there. Otherwise, I'll probably just do a few live streams, because honestly, I can't think of how I'm actually going to make any relevant content next week, so yeah, going to be a tricky one. But either way, with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What is your favorite typing combination in Pokemon Go? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Let's go into the first battle, leading Shadow Salamence into Azumarill. Now, this honestly is not that bad of a matchup, and the reason I'm running Salamence in the lead is because it has the most comfortable matchup up against Azumarill, which might be surprising since it's running Fire Fang as the fast move, but I can just soft lose the one shield scenario here, and I pretty much played the one shield scenario out every single time. Now, I've already showcased Shadow Salamence with Fire Fang on this channel. Previously, I was able to pretty much every single time catch the charge move onto my Steelix. The second time round, unfortunately, I don't have that luxury of catching a Ice Beam or a Play Rough onto my backline, so instead, gonna soft lose, but we still put them into farm down range for the Shadow Dragonite to come in, get that Steel Wing farm down, and the opponent comes in with a Goodra. Now, of course, I'm not running Dragon Claw, the opponent doesn't know that, no, and of course, Superpower is still gonna do big damage anyways, so we grab the final shield, we swap into Rayquaza, we are taking huge damage from the Dragon Breaths, but I should still be able to go for a full Dragon Tail farm down. So the opponent goes for Aqua Tail, but they swap into Ferrothorn, and we are full sending Dragon Ascent. Dragon Ascent gonna be neutral up against the Steel, and Grass typing, it gets the one shot. They come back in with Goodra, we put them into range where one Steel Wing from Shadow Dragonite gets the farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top over there into the next battle. Great lead for us. The opponent's going to safe swap into Dragalge, and unfortunately, even though we've got Breaking Swipe here, we are just going to be one-shielded and then fully farmed down by Dragalge, and we don't even get the debuff either, which isn't very nice. But we're going to come in with our Shadow Dragonite, going to wait out the switch clock in its full, come in with the Dragonite. I will respect the first charge move. They're probably just going to go for back-to-back Aqua Tails. So the first one is going to be shielded. They actually don't make it to the second one, which is very nice. And let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to come back in with the Escavalier, realizing we're probably running Fire Fang on the Salamence. So we go for the Superpower, dealing huge damage. The opponent then swaps into Azumarill. And this seems strange here. Of course, Salamence is going to have a great matchup up against the Escavalier. I swap out kind of slow as well, but I realized my Dragonite was debuffed. If I landed a Hurricane, which I probably would have been able to do, it wouldn't do much damage once it's debuffed. So instead, we go for the Fly, and because we swapped out a little bit late, the opponent can actually outpace me to the next charge move. Now, this seems bad, but this is actually perfectly fine. It's exactly what I wanted, because now we can come in with the Shadow Dragonite. The opponent swaps back into Escavalier. However, we get the Steel Wing farm down, coming out with the Hurricane loaded, and a Hurricane is enough damage to take out Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to opponent there, two big nukes landing in back-to-back battles. Into the next battle, we're going to see a Shadow Skarmory in the lead. Now, definitely where we want to see it. Fire Fang, honestly, not doing that much more damage than the Steel Wings, but they're going to swap into Azumarill, and if we land the Fly, I'm going to swap out into my Shadow Dragonite. We're able to connect there, and now we're going to come in with the Dragonite. Of course, I'm going to have to shield this, and I don't really want to full send a Hurricane in this battle, so what we're going to do is overfarm as much as we can and throw just before they make it to the next charge. We fire off a Superpower, and even from this range, Superpower Superpower, resisted damage, should get the KO. However, the opponent actually going to shield that up. I'm fine to let the Dragonite go down, and this way I'm thinking, surely we put them into Dragon Tail farm down range, so we're going to come in with the Rayquaza, but actually looking at this, I don't think we're getting that farm down, so instead we swap into our Salamence, and we get the Fire Fang Snipe. They come back in with Skarmory. I'm still able to make it to a fly here, and the fact they come in with Skarmory means they're probably weak to the Salamence in the back, so we've got the Breaking Swipe already loaded. I could have obviously gone for a Dragon Tail farm down, used the shield here, but I figured I might as well get rid of all of their energy, and they've got Excadrill in the back, so this is very nice for me. All I have to do is use my shield. By the time we make it to Dragon Ascent, honestly, Breaking Swipe probably gets the KO, but we've got it. We might as well full send it. So Dragon Ascent, resisted damage, easily gets the KO from that range up against the Excadrill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there into the next battle. Great lead seeing Alolan Sandslash. The opponent's going to Safe Swap into a Shadow Galarian Weezing. Now, unfortunately, this is very tricky for us. I'm going to have to shield this up here as the opponent goes for a Sludge. By the time they make it to the next charge move, unfortunately, Sludge will be enough damage to get the KO. We're going to fire off the Superpower here because ideally, I would prefer if they just let that go through. But of course, they're going to fight hard for switch advantage. I can't afford to go down by 2 shields because I know they could just farm me down with the Sandslash, come out with pretty much an Ice Punch loaded, and it's game over. So instead, we come in with Rayquaza. I'm going to swap immediately into my Shadow Salamence, and we get off one Fire Fang, but the opponent very quick to swap out into Giratina. However, if I'm able to grab the final shield here, depending on how much damage that Fire Fang did up against the Sandslash, maybe we're going to put them into range where a Dragon Ascent, even resisted, would get the KO up against that Sandslash. So we're going to come in with the Rayquaza. Unfortunately, they do make it to a charge move here. I kind of have to shield this. It's just the Ominous Wind. But either way, Ominous Wind with the Shadow Claw damage would take us out. Now we are full sending the Dragon Ascent. However, that Fire Fang unfortunately did not quite do enough damage to put them into Dragon Tail farm down range. The opponent able to make it to an Ice Punch, and of course Ice Punch getting the KO there. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. If it was a Shadow Alolan Sandslash, we could have won that game there. Or if we had a Shadow Rayquaza, which currently doesn't exist, then we could have got the KO. But unfortunately, that was not the case. But into the next battle, GG's to the opponent, by the way. Going to see a Turtonator. We swap out. I was hoping they would just swap out straight away. And the reason we got Dragonite as that safe swap there is because pretty much every single time I would bait out a Azumarill. And because they took so long to swap out there, I'm able to land the Hurricane. And hopefully, once again, I put them into range where we can just come in with the Salamence, go for that Fire Fang farm down. If they come back in with Turtonator, I think they're switch locked, so we're going to come in with Rayquaza, and we're able to get that Dragon Tail farm down before they make it to another charge move. However, they've got Shiinotic in the back, so we farmed up to the Dragon Ascent, and gonna bait with a Breaking Swipe, grab a shield there from the opponent, getting the debuff, and that will actually allow me to make it to a Dragon Ascent, and this is huge for me. The opponent doesn't want a double shield. Dragon Ascent gets another one shot up against the Shiinotic, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top there into the next battle, another Azumarill in the lead. So once again, going to play out the one shield scenario here, just soft lose this with my Salamence. Unfortunately, they are running Ice Beam, so they're going to outpace me to the first charge move. However, it will be a CMP tie to the second charge move here if I just throw on good timing. So we go for the Fly there. Fly is going to be no shielded. The second one, going to throw on CMP, and this is perfectly fine with me. Fly number 2 is going to be shielded by the opponent, but that's fine. We are going to let the Salamence go down. Are we going to come in with Rayquaza here? Yes, we are. Can we get the farm down? Looks like this time we will get that farm down, which is huge for me. But then they come in with another Water and Fairy type. This time it's going to be a Charm Primarina. My only win condition was full sending the Dragon Ascent, and it gets shielded. So unfortunately, Dragonite going to go down to 4 charms, and we end up losing that game. But GG's to opponent there. Very well played. Into next battle, going to see a Shadow Galarian Weezing in the lead. Now, honestly, I think this was the first battle I did with this team. Sludge is a rubbish move. It still gets the one shot, and at this point I'm just thinking like, what the heck am I doing? But they say swap into a Dracloak. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Dracloak, maybe? I don't know. Literally never seen this Pokemon before. Obviously it's the middle stage evolution of the Dreepy line. It doesn't have Breaking Swipe though, so I'm able to go for a full farm down, grab a shield with the Breaking Swipe there, and I'm able to make it to another Breaking Swipe. However, this will not be enough damage to get the KO. They realize they can let that go through, and it very much depends on what they've got in the back. The opponent goes for Sludge there, and they're going to have their own Fire Fang Shadow Salamence. We're going to farm 2 back-to-back superpowers, and even though it's resisted, even though I will debuff my attack here, superpower will be enough damage when I get off the second one to get the KO up against the Shadow Salamence, and I'm able to take that game. So honestly, that was just a bad day for Shadow Salamence there, as we went down to a Sludge, and then of course, it got nuked by a superpower from my Shadow Dragonite. But into the next battle, you can see the opponent, I think they led with Escavalier, swapped into Azumarill, so this is fine with me. Since we've got the energy advantage, I'm going to go straight for the fly there. Now I'm going to swap into my Shadow Dragonite. Now, unfortunately, since the opponent is running Ice Beam, I can't overfarm at all in this matchup. I'm going to have to fire off a superpower as soon as I get there. So I'm going to fire it off straight away. Superpower is going to be shielded by the opponents, and at this point I'm thinking, well, we put them into Dragon Tail farm down range. Switch advantage, not that important because I've got two Pokemon that do reasonably well up against the Escavalier, and if I snipe with like one Fire Fang, that's going to do like 25% of the Escavalier's health, so might as well go for the farm down here. I'm not going to swap out straight away, that's probably what the opponent expects, so instead we're going to farm up to near a Dragon Ascent, but the opponent has a Bastiodon in the back, and I'm able to make it to a Draco Meteor. This will honestly do quite a lot of damage, but unfortunately it's nowhere near enough damage to get the KO. I can fire off a Breaking Swipe straight away, hopefully get a debuff here. Breaking Swipe is going to be shielded, and it does get the debuff. However, I think I need a second debuff to get a Dragon Tail farm down here. We don't get that debuff. The opponent wisely not throwing a charge move at all, committing to the full Smackdown farm down. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into the next battle, we can see a Lucario in the lead. So again, great lead for us. The opponent's going to safe swap into a Astonish, Shinotic, and this is fine. I'm going to fire off the fly here, and then if we grab a shield, I'm going to swap into my Shadow Dragonite. So the opponent is going to shield. We're going to come in with the Dragonite, and I'm just going to shield, play it safe here. The opponent's actually going to go for a Sludge Bomb, which maybe we would have lived that, but it would have been very close. I don't think there's any point in risking that. We're now going to go for a Superpower, and even though this will debuff my defense, I don't think the opponent can commit to a full farm down. So instead, I'm going to fire off the charge move here. I'm going to no shield, but it's a power-up punch, so that's definitely not ideal for us. We're now going to come in with the Salamence, and the opponent is going to throw one more Force Palm. We put them into Dragon Tail farm down range for the Rayquaza, and the opponent's got a Turtonator in the back, which is huge for me. I can fire off 5 Dragon Tails, throw the charge move just before they make it to their own. Breaking Swipe gets the KO, and I'm able to Dragon Tail farm down Lucario to take that game. So, GG's to opponent there. Into the next battle, you can see Empoleon in the lead, and the opponent is going to be running Steel Wing, it looks like here, which is not ideal. They will actually outpace me to the first charge move, and they're dealing more damage than we're dealing with the neutral Fire Fangs here. I'm actually going to bank the move there, then swap into my Rayquaza, and they come in with a Whimsicott, and this is not great, but the opponent is committing to a full fast move farm down. So I'm full sending Dragon Ascent once again, and unfortunately, it does get shielded. However, we do have a Fly already loaded on the Salamence, so what we're going to do is just throw the charge move straight away. We're easily going to win CMP here, and we can probably grab the final shield from the opponent, but no, they actually let that go through. It gets the one shot. They come back in with Empoleon. They don't throw a move. We come in with our Dragonite, and unfortunately, they are running Turtonator in the back, and we don't have Dragon Claw for coverage, or even Dragon Breath here, which would do a lot of damage. We could probably just shield once and fully Dragon Breath farm them down if we had Dragon Breath here, but unfortunately we don't. I have to full send the Hurricane, because if I go for a Superpower here, well, the second time we throw it would not be enough damage to get the KO, but unfortunately we're outpaced. For some reason, the opponent went for a BM Overheat first before going for a Dragon Pulse. It doesn't really make a difference. Dragonite, Super Glassy, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, Azumarill in the lead. So once again, gonna play out the one shield scenario, and again they are running Ice Beam. I think I was watching like a Dan Ottawa video where he said most Azumarill is going to be on Play Rough and Hydro Pump, but actually I found that not many Azumarill are actually on Hydro Pump. Most of them have Ice Beam, which is definitely not ideal for this team, because it means they get to the charge move faster, and it doesn't matter if it's an Ice Beam or a Play Rough. All of those moves are going to one-shot us, and even, honestly, a Hydro Pump probably one-shots us as well. But either way, we can come in, soft lose that lead matchup, come in with the Shadow Dragonite, get that Steel Wing farm down, and they come in with a Alolan Sandslash, and this is actually very nice for me. We've got the energy advantage, so Superpower is going to grab the final shield here, and even though we debuff our defense and our attack, I'll still be able to outpace them to the next charge move, and a Superpower will get the KO. I wait one turn just to make sure that they don't make a catch, which they don't. Superpower gets the KO. We can come in with Rayquaza, and they've got Giratina in the back. Now they would make it to an Ominous Wind, but they're not going to make it to the Shadow Ball before a Breaking Swipe gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top over there into the next battle. We're going to see a Shadow alone in Sandslash in the lead. So great lead matchup for us. The opponent's actually choosing to stay in this matchup. So I'm just going to shield once, go for a full Fire Fang farm down. But unfortunately, I actually don't get that much energy getting that farm down because only 6 Fire Fangs take them out from full health, which is kind of crazy. But either way, we are going to see Azumarill coming in. So we're going to go straight for the Fly. Fly is going to be shielded there. If they did no shield, I'd probably swap into my Shadow Dragonite. But unfortunately, because they shield there, I kind of need to shield this as well. And I'm hoping I can make it to back-to-back flies before they make it to the next play rough. However, unfortunately, we'll just barely not quite get there in time. But I don't really want to risk swapping and making a catch because I don't know which of my dragons in the back is going to be more useful. So instead, we let the play rough take us out. We're going to come in with the Shadow Dragonite. They will outpace me to the next charge move. So I'm going to swap here into my Rayquaza. But I think I swapped too soon there. Not able to make a catch or anything. And they've got a Registeel in the back. So things aren't looking great for us. We go for Breaking Swipe. Don't get the debuff. Doesn't make a difference here. Zap Cannon will be enough damage to easily take out Rayquaza, and unfortunately on this moveset, Dragonite cannot store back-to-back charge moves. We can go for a superpower here, but we won't have enough energy for the Hurricane, and unfortunately the opponent can fire off a charge move. They stored the Play Rough gets the KO, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's top over there into next battle. We can see a Goodra in the lead, so this is not good for us at all. We're going to say swap into our Rayquaza, and we're met with a Skarmory. So things going from bad to worse. We're just going to full send the Dragon Ascent here. It, of course, is resisted, but it still does huge damage. Skarmory, pretty bulky Pokemon, but unfortunately, I needed to flip that. And even so, I still don't know what I'm supposed to do in this matchup, so I'm just going to let the Brave Bird take us out there. Not a lot we can do. We're basically forfeiting the game without quitting, and they're going to come in with a Thunderfang Steelix. So at this point, if they're not running Breaking Swipe, I might as well just go for a Hurricane BM, because why not? Of course, I made a comment the other day saying about like, oh, the game was already over. Why did my opponent bother shielding and throwing a charge move? Well, I've basically done the same thing there. It's just funny. But GG's to that opponent there into the next battle. We're going to see Azumarill in the lead once again. So, you know the drill. Play out the one shield scenario. Soft lose it. Come in with my Dragonite. Get the farm down there. Although, if they are low enough, then I'll probably farm down with Rayquaza just because we can actually get more Dragon Tails in. But of course, I do need them to be low enough to the point where Rayquaza can actually farm them down. So we're going to go and fire off Fly number 2. Fly is going to be shielded by the opponent. They're not really going to overfarm by too much here, so I'm going to let the Salamence go down. Play rough, gets the KO, and now we can come in with the Rayquaza because they were low enough and because they were on play rough, so it took them one more fast move to make it to the first charge move. But we're going to see a Shadow Extra Drill coming in. So at this point, I'm thinking surely it's going to be double steal in the back. So I'm going to sacrifice my Rayquaza here. Come in with the Dragonite. They will just barely make it to a second Rock Slide, but that's fine with me. I'm happy to use my shield here. That Azumarill is in Steel Wing farm down range, so all I've got to do is avoid the opponent making a catch. The opponent is going to reveal that the final Pokemon is actually a Shadow Mawile, but things are perfect there. The opponent not able to make the catch, and so they just concede the match there. So GG's top end there into next battle. Shadow Scizor in the lead. The opponent needs to get out straight away because if they don't, these Fire Fangs absolutely tearing them apart. 5 Fire Fangs takes them out, and they come in with Azumarill. I'm not really sure why they didn't swap out there. I guess maybe they are double weak to the Fire Fang in the back there, but either way, we're going to land the move, and because they didn't swap out, we're swapping into our Shadow Dragonite, maybe looking to bait out whatever is weak to the Salamence in the back, and it's going to be a Flygon. So honestly, that doesn't really make any sense to me. The opponent should have just swapped out of that matchup in the lead there. Of course, Flygon only has resisted, well, double resisted fast move pressure, but they are much spammier than the Salamence, so it's still a positive matchup for them, at least in even shield scenarios. But now we can come in with Rayquaza. I can actually no-shield this because they are a non-shadow. We will just barely hang on there, but these sand attacks, they're not doing much damage, and I'm actually going to go straight for a double resisted Breaking Swipe. If the opponent lets us go through, I can actually just Fire Fang farm them down. The opponent has to shield that, but they realize we're going to make it to a Fly, and so the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG's top home there into the next battle. We're going to see Shadow Salamence into, you guessed it, another Azumarill in the lead. Wow, crazy variety here from the opponents. However, I do think that in limited metas like this, it's quite easy to climb. Obviously, like not using a team like this where we are obviously going to be completely walled by certain Pokemon. but like you're not going to see that much variety, so it's probably quite easy to find a good team and then just keep on using it. There are only so many matchups that you need to learn, so maybe after a day's worth of battles, you've basically faced everything that you could possibly face with the team, so you can learn the ins and outs of your team and do pretty well. But either way, we're going to come in with the Shadow Dragonite, go for the Steel Wing farm down. The opponent actually swaps into Berserker, so we're going straight for Superpower, and then I'm actually going to swap into my Rayquaza, and this seems like a strange decision, but I realized they're probably not going to go for a close combat straight away, so instead, it's just going to be a double resisted Trailblaze, which it is, but then I make a huge mistake here. I'm thinking, well, if they full send the close combat now, surely I can just come in with my Dragonite and farm them down, but no, these Steel Wings still not doing much damage. They're doing more damage with the Shadow Claws, and unfortunately, it's going to be game over now. They go for a Trailblaze. I have to throw straight away now, and I'm reading already it's going to be like a Mud Slapper in the back, but Superpower gets the KO. They come in with the Dug Trio, and one double resisted Mud Slap gets the KO, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. So GG's to opponent there. Definitely played that one poorly. Should have just shielded my Rayquaza and gone for either a Dragon Tail farm down or thrown a Breaking Swipe. But either way, into the next battle, and wow, an Azumarill in the lead. That's crazy, but they're going to go for a Play Rough there. Once again, just going to play out the one shield scenario, go for the first fly. The opponent is going to let that first one go through. And now we're going to throw the second one straight away here, and we will actually get there since they're running Play Rough and not Ice Beam before they're able to throw their own Charge Beam, so not a CMP tie. And again, this time we put them into range where Rayquaza can actually come in and get their Dragon Tail farm down, but they swap into Whimsicott. So we're going to come in with the Shadow Dragonite, and we're going to shield this up here. So the opponent did farm up to the potential Moonblast. They actually bait with a Seed Bomb, meaning they will make it to another Charge Beam, but it's just going to be another Seed Bomb, which is double resisted. So of course, we don't have any shields remaining, but it doesn't matter. We're still able to get the farm down there. They're going to come back in with the Azumarill, and we are going to make it to the Superpower. But unfortunately, we actually don't have back-to-back Superpowers loaded. So instead, we're going to swap out into Rayquaza. We are going to fire off a Breaking Swipe on the CMP tie, but this is resisted damage. Breaking Swipe does not get the KO there. It's nowhere close. However, we are one move away. If we're able to get damage registration error, which we're able to do, we're able to make it to a Superpower with literally 1 HP and a Dream, taking out the Excadrill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Very fortunate on our end that we got damage registration error. I did obviously like make a comment the other day how like usually I complain about it, but recently I've actually had it a few times, so not going to complain about it now. But either way, we're going to see another Galarian Weezing. This time it's a non-shadow, so I'm thinking surely we live the sludge this time, and we do, but it's even worse for us because they get the farm down. So oh man, I should have just shielded once, like what am I doing? Either way, going to come in with the Shadow Dragonite, and we do get the Steel Wing farm down. However, we are now down a shield. They're going to come in with Azumarill, so this is not too bad. I don't expect them to shield this, even though they still have 2 shields in play. However, I'm going to need something incredibly weak to the Rayquaza in the back if I'm able to win this game here, because yeah, it's just not looking too good for us. So at this point, I'm going to let Dragonite go down. They go for a Play Rough, and they come in with a Shadow Flygon, and there it is, a Pokemon incredibly weak to the Rayquaza. However, this is a Shadow Flygon, so I have to shield the Dragon Claw, which means if I'm not able to get a Dragon Tail farm down in 5 Dragon Tails, we will unfortunately lose this game. And again, I'm just wasting my opponent's time here. I am such a hypocrite, but we go for a Dragon Ascend. We're going to grab a shield there, and unfortunately, we're going to go down to a Play Rough from the Azumarill, and we lose that game. So GG Turbo there into the next battle, and the final battle of this video, I do believe. Going to see a Whimsicott in the lead, which is fine with me, especially since they just go straight for a Seed Bomb, which of course double resisted. Gonna tank that. They're now going to swap into a Flygon, and we can come in with our Rayquaza. I should be able to shield once, and this is the non-shadow, so I could live the Dragon Claw here, but I'm thinking I can shield once and go for a full Dragon Tail farm down, and we're able to do exactly that. Now they come in with Galarian Stunfisk, so unfortunately going to wall the energy here. However, I don't really care. We get the debuff with the Breaking Swipe, so now we can actually live a Rock Slide. So I'm going to no-shield this. Rock Slide does big damage, but I don't think they'll be able to get a full Mudshot farm down. The opponent actually catches there, so I'm able to go for a Breaking Swipe, then swap into my Shadow Dragonite, get the Steel Wing farm down, and I will be able to make it to a Superpower up against the Stunfisk coming back in. At this point, this should be game over. They can overfarm massively, and they probably should overfarm and do overfarm. However, it's just not going to matter. We can come in with our Shadow Salamence, throw it back-to-back Rock Slides, but we can just shield this up. We are very close to the fly. However, because we can, we're going to go for a BM and actually full send a Draco Meteor, which doesn't really make a difference here. They're still going to shield it, but we've got a Breaking Swipe on Rayquaza, so all we have to do is stay in with the Salamence. They could have farmed up to back-to-back Rock Slides again, however, it does not matter. So Breaking Swipe from this range will be enough damage, despite being resisted, to take out the Stunfisk. and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.